Hello and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. Today's podcast is number 1501. The topic is training and the title is YouTube Video Workout Voiceover. Now, we have done one of these so far. The first one was actually podcast 1492. I went through a leg workout, and I asked for response if people thought it was good, not good, if they wanted me to hear it again. If you wanted to hear it again. Hopefully I want to hear myself. If that's not true, then definitely don't need to be producing it. So I wanted to do another one. I did get some feedback that people liked it, so thank you. However, continue to send more. If you haven't told me that you like it and you do, let me know. Again, our email is brutalirongym@gmail.com. The idea of trying to do these is just trying to deliver content, more content, and then content in different ways, because people kind of learn differently. They interact in social media differently. So I want to have a little bit of everything so that way I can catch everybody and help everybody. So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you a little bit first, and then I'm going to press the record button on my video, and then I'm going to do the voiceover for the video, and then I'll be publishing that on our YouTube channel. That's where you can find the previous video, the one we did from 1492, podcast 1492, the leg one. The video for that and the voiceover that was recorded for that is on our YouTube channel. You can find us on YouTube, or you can go to our website, www.brutalirongym.com. I have a link there to our YouTube channel, but I also just separately have the educational videos away from all the other videos. So they're just individually on our website. So if you don't want to sift through our channel, the website is a great way to see them directly. So what we're going to see in this video, well, what you're going to hear in the video, and then if you check out the YouTube video, what you'll see is an upper back workout. The focus of this is on the mid-back, the muscles over and between the shoulder blades, and a little bit of the rear delt, the back of the shoulder. Delt is short for deltoids. Deltoids is a fancy word for shoulder muscles. So we're going to work on the back side of the shoulder, the muscles over top of the shoulder blades, the muscles between the shoulder blades. Now, specifically, we're going to try not to target the lower lats. And we're going to try not to target the upper traps. So the idea is, if we use a little bit of lower lats, we use a little bit of upper traps, sure, great. But we don't want to try to emphasize those areas. What we really want to emphasize is the muscles over top of and between the shoulder blades. The idea of this is that it improves your V taper. What that means is, if you look at someone from the back side, their shoulders and their back will look wider than their hips. Aesthetically, that is a nice thing. So now I won't get too far off into different shapes of the body and what people consider nice and not nice. But on aesthetics, it's nice to have a frame in which your shoulders and upper back, they don't look like super thick in the lower lats. Maybe people want that if they want thick, rounded back. But if they just want a nice detailed back and having more of like an athletic type look rather than a bodybuilder type look, then that's what this workout is for. So who would need this? If you're underdeveloped in the mid-back area, this would be great for you. So when you train your back, especially for growth, it tends to grow wide before it grows thick. So your lats will actually grow width-wise, but when you turn to the side, you won't see much detail. So the idea of this workout is to build the thickness. So if you want to have a thicker, more detailed back, when you turn to the side, your back kind of sticks out, your shoulders don't look rounded forward and slumped over. This would work exactly for that. That's exactly what this is designed for. Now, that can be good for aesthetics. That can be good for people who compete, especially female competitors. If you're in bikini, figure, physique, those categories, wellness, those categories, you'll be more rewarded for a detailed back than you would for like a wide back. So the female categories of competition, aesthetic competitions, this is going to be a perfect type of workout structure for you. Also, I do work with personal trainers. Over half my clients are personal trainers, and a couple of them, we've been talking recently about how they present themselves on social media, and they were wondering how they can look better, but they're like, dude, I'm not going to squat 1,000 pounds, or, like one of the female coaches is like, I don't want to be showing my butt in all my photos. So what we talked about was if you don't worry about having like the biggest physique, worry about having the best balanced physique, like the most complete. And that would be, for example, having good back detail rather than just like bulky muscles or having no muscles back there. A nice back, muscular wise, separates you from most people because most people don't have a nice muscular back. So that's going to be a really cool way for you to look more complete in your physique, but not worry about having to be, the most physically fit, the leanest, all this other stuff. Okay, so I'm going to get into it now a little bit. So I'm going to talk directly to the camera. You're going to listen in. And then after I'm done recording that, I will go ahead and check back in with you guys. Okay, so I think this is ready. Let's get going. Here in today's workout, we're working on our upper back muscles. We're specifically working on the mid-back and the muscles on top of and between the shoulder blades. As you can see here, what I'm starting with is our ski erg, or Concept 2 ski erg, and I'm actually doing crisscrossed reverse flies. So I crisscross the cables, I'm doing reverse flies. The idea of this, as you can see, I'm really getting good shoulder extension, shoulder movement, so it pulls a lot of muscle into the shoulders, and it's already kind of priming my mind-muscle connection to squeeze that mid-back area right between the shoulder blades. Next, what I'm doing, I'm pairing with that is our Concept 2 rower. My dad and I made a special attachment that you can change the handle on the rower. So I'm attaching some D-ring straps, so that way I can do seated rows where I'm getting a resisted contraction, but a non-weighted eccentric. Again, this is really good for shoulder stretching and squeezing. You can see how much movement happens in my shoulders. This really, really warms up the back, and it helps increase blood flow to the shoulders, build up that mind-muscle connection. You can play with your hand angles to get different parts of the back. I really love this warm-up because it's a great way to get a ton of blood flow and stimulus to the small nuanced muscles of the upper back. Next, what I'm doing is I'm doing a seal row, but I'm using a cable machine, and I'm behind the machine with a bench. The idea of this is it has a wide set handles. So I'm actually pulling up from an angle wider than my shoulders. This really hits the mid-back area super well. So this is a better form of a seal row for the mid-back, right between the shoulder blades, the lower traps. You can see it squeeze there. This is actually better than a weight that's directly underneath you, say like dumbbells or a barbell. If you're using a barbell, just grab a little bit wider. If you have the opportunity to do something like this with wide cable handles, it works great. What I paired that with was seated shrugs using our Hurricane machine from Sornex. It's a weird machine, but it's great because the arms can pivot and rotate and move however you want. So I set a bench in front of it, and I'm leaning slightly forward, and I'm thinking of pulling my shoulders back as the weight comes up. So you can see the majority of the squeeze is not from my shoulders raising up, hitting the upper traps. The squeeze is in the mid-back between the shoulder blades. It's hitting that lower trap, all those muscles around the shoulder blades. We're going back here now to look at the seal row, the cable seal row. So for these exercises, I actually went back and forth. I did 2 or 3 kind of warm-up sets to find the right weight, and then I did 3 harder sets. And that's a good system I like, to where I can kind of get an idea of the feel of the movement, work on my mind-muscle connection, and then 3 working sets is usually pretty good. Anything past that, usually the quality is kind of low, or the quality of the work isn't worth continuing. You kind of beat them up, it's time to move on. Then what I did move on to was seated lat pull downs. I was using a mag grip handle that has a slightly angled overhand grip, and I'm working on letting my shoulders raise but not overextend my arms. What this does is this helps make sure you work on the lats, the upper part of the lats, and not overly stress your biceps. So this is a really good variation to build the upper edge of the lat right by the armpit, which really helps increase the V taper in the back. You can see there's a close-up of the mag grip handle, MAG, Maximum Advantage Grip. You can check out their website. They have a bunch of different handle angles. Then what I paired that with was a cable seated row. Again, I'm using another type of mag grip handle. This is a narrow overhand. This targets so well into the middle of the back, right between the shoulder blades, the lower traps. I feel like this is probably the best exercise for that area. Haven't found one any better. It targets that area so well. I'm really focusing again on trying to let my shoulders stretch but not pull with my biceps. And there's a close-up of the handle. You can see the kind of angle of the handles and how that really helps you target the mid-back. If we go back now, we're looking at the lat pull down again. And this is a good view to see how I'm letting my shoulders stretch up to really stretch the lats, but I'm not fully extending my arms. What I'm thinking of doing is trying to drive my elbows into the floor and try to catch the weight on the way up, like control the eccentric through my armpits. I'm really trying to deactivate my biceps, which is what those mag grip handles really help you do. On the cable seated row, you can see here, same thing. I'm really trying to stretch and squeeze between the shoulder blades and not overextend my arms. So again, that way the biceps don't take over. It's really helpful to see in video what area of the back is contracting and squeezing the most, because it really helps you understand the benefits of that movement and what muscles are really being targeted. And again, we're back to the lat pull down. And again, you can see that my arms aren't overextending. For these, again, I did 2 or 3 practice sets. I did 3 hard working sets. Typically, when I'm working on muscular growth, I will have my working sets last between 20 to 40 seconds. Now, for some exercises, that might be 10 reps. For other exercises, it might be 15. I kind of go at a pace of movement that I always feel in control. If somebody were to yell, "Stop," I'd be able to stop anytime I needed to. So I'm always in control, but I don't want to be overly slow where it limits how much weight I can move. So as long as you're moving 20 to 40 seconds if your goal is growth. If your goal is strength and growth, aim more towards like 10 to 30 seconds, somewhere in there. What I did to finish the workout was I used Spud Inc. jump strap cables, which go around your wrist, so it's just easier on the grip. And I'm doing an angled underhand pull down, actually standing away from the machine. And I'm angled forward. What this does is this gets a stretch in your lats, but it actually targets the upper lat and the muscles right around the bottom edge of the shoulder blade super duper well. So it looks like it would be for the lower lats, but it's actually not. It's excellent for the upper lats and kind of the muscles underneath that control the shoulder blade positioning. So it's kind of like the upper inside of the lats. This is a really cool exercise. You have to be pretty fatigued by it by the time you get to it, so that way the lighter weights are challenging. If you go too heavy, you get thrown out of position or you have to move out of position and you don't hit the muscles well. So this is more so a finishing movement. And again, working set should be 20 to 40 seconds. Awesome. Hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, back to the podcast. I hope these things are fun. I enjoy making them. But that one was shorter. Our first one was 13 minutes. This one's just 6 minutes and 47 seconds. A lot of stuff is packed in there. I try to kind of talk a little bit about everything. And I'm enjoying this because I told my wife, Meredith, when I first started working out at 15 years old, we didn't have internet. When I turned 16, I don't think we still didn't have internet. I was trying to use the Arnold Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, and I was reading books and trying to figure out what was going on, talking to some friends and kind of football coaches and athletic coaches in the area. But when I turned 17 and we got internet, dial-up internet, yes, I found RX Muscles in the Iron Asylum. So RX Muscle is a bodybuilding community led by Dave Palumbo. And they had videos at that time where he would interview professional bodybuilders. They would actually record the bodybuilder working out, and then they would do a voiceover of an interview. That was my first introduction to true learning. I would take 40 minutes to download like a 15, 20-minute video, lovely dial-up internet. Then I would watch that. I would kind of take any notes, and I'd run downstairs. We had my parents were amazing, and they let me buy a $600 weight set and take over half the garage. So I would run down there, and for the rest of the evening I would try to mimic the exercises or try to play with the concepts that they talked about in that video. It was huge for me in regards to learning and how fast I learned, how much I learned just by soaking those things in. So I wanted to be able to do that for other people, make those type of videos, something that was so beneficial to me, I hope is of some benefit to others as well. Okay, well, if you like this idea, you can check out our YouTube videos, like I said, on our YouTube channel or our website. We have a direct link on our website, and the individual educational videos are present on the website, so you don't have to go anywhere. You just go right there and click them. If you have a topic that you would like me to cover in a video, I would be ecstatic. I'd be over the moon to do that. So if there's something you would like to see in one of those videos and have a voiceover of it and really get to learn the deeper details, please let me know. Again, our email is brutalironjim@gmail.com. Just let me know what topic it is. I'll film it. If it doesn't match me somehow, I'll get one of my clients or a gym member to do the workout, and I'll record them. So just throw the topic out there, whatever it is, and I'll find a way to make it. How about that? But I really appreciate you listening. I hope that this stuff is beneficial. If there's anything you ever need, please reach out. I'm here to support you. I want you to live your healthiest and happiest life. Okay. Well, thank you for listening to the podcast. If you do like our podcast, please share it. If you share it on social media, that reaches the most people. But you can also just share in a conversation. Just let people know that we exist and that through the podcast, I'll answer any question they have for free. Pretty awesome. Thank you to the people who financially support the podcast. The podcast is well over $1,000 a year for hosting costs. I give an hour to it every day, and we want to keep it for free. So thank you to those who donate. You can do so on our website, and you can choose $5 a month, like something, one-time donation, a yearly donation, whatever it is. Anything is appreciated. It just helps cover some of that cost. Thank you. If you like the information we share in our podcast, as you found out now, you can find more from us on our YouTube channel, but we also have Instagram, and I share from Instagram to Facebook and Twitter. Awesome. And we're under the name Brutal Iron Gym in all those channels. If you have any questions, feedback, suggestions, anything you want to know, let us know at our email, brutalironjim@gmail.com. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.